So thank you so much, Linda. We're really looking forward to hearing what lessons and what wisdom you have.
My story of finding faith and strength I'd like to dedicate to my parents, Rachel and Jack Luck. My problem started in 1948 at the age of 18 months. Like many other toddlers, I was to be vaccinated against a triple vaccination, diphtheria, tetanus, and whooping cough. Over 70 years ago, medicine and vaccinations weren't as advanced as they are today, and that particular vaccination caused me to have epilepsy and my left side to become paralyzed. Doctors told my parents that I would not survive, but if I did, I would never walk again. Over our dead body, if we have anything to do with it, my mother said. She took me for 16 years, 3 times a week, for physiotherapy and occupational therapy. Consequently, all this interfered with my schooling, and I was never allowed to take the school leaving examination and having the chance to go to university. I did not even pass the 11+ exam and had to go to secondary school, unlike my sisters who all went to grammar schools. Initially, I felt like an imbecile. Having been to hospital for my exercises, I would return to the classroom and feel that every step I took was being scrutinized. When my mother heard this, she wanted to accompany me right up to the door of the classroom, but I certainly didn't want that. She was a very protective person, tending to mollycoddle me, but I had to learn to stand on my own 2 feet, whatever it took. In the playground, I was like a wallflower. Nobody would play with me, and I felt very lonely. What I hated so much was that my left shoe was always built up 1/2 inch. When I said the Shema at night, I had that feeling that the Almighty was listening to all my problems. And then, as time went by, already in my secondary school, I could feel that I was gaining more confidence. I was coping more by myself. After all, I can do it, not I won't do it, was my motto. I left school and my parents had wanted me to go into the typing pool of an office, as typing would strengthen my left hand. However, I wanted to work with children, and so I took the kindergarten teacher course and passed the examination. I was so happy that now I could hold my head up high, knowing that I had actually achieved something after all. After I had been working for a couple of years, my parents decided to visit my 2 sisters in South Africa. I went with them and decided to remain there for 1 year and get a job as a kindergarten teacher. This idea my mother was not keen on. What would happen to me? Would I be all right? In the end, she had to agree in allowing me to stay. I would be fine and she must not worry. I was convincing when I said that the Almighty will come to my aid, providing I help myself. She seemed satisfied with my answers. In my early 20s, I no longer had to have my shoe built up, but I was still self-conscious about the way I walked. I often wondered if it would affect my chances of marrying, but straight after returning to London from South Africa, I met Leslie at the Cranfield seminar, which was organized by the Torah department, and we married a year later. Doctors had never discussed conception with my parents. It would frequently play on my mind. Would a baby I gave birth to be normal? I did in fact give birth to 2 healthy children, but the wonderful man I had married suddenly died only 10 years later of a heart attack. My family thought that I would break down from this emotional tragedy and having to raise my 7 and 9-year-old alone. But in actual fact, I had to continue for my children and myself. It wasn't the first time I was alone. I was also alone during all those years in the playground by myself, not accepted or included by the other children. Losing Leslie made me see that my mother's strength was in me after all. In the nearly 40 years that I have been widowed, I have built a very independent and active life. I go out to shiurim, to yoga, to creative writing, and I go to a creative writing group and have a wonderful circle of friends. But nevertheless, it doesn't take away the fact that I hate every minute of being alone, and I would dearly love to meet somebody. As my mother would have said, you'll find him around the corner you least expect. You must always ask people, for you never know who they know. And I always hope that this will be the case, please God.
Amen. Amen, Linda. Thank you so much. I think there may be even some tears from people here listening. Your story, your narrative, the way that you share with such resilience, the depths that you've been in, and the joy that you've also witnessed, and the hopes that also you see, and the joys that lie ahead, please God. I think that one of the things that you teach us is that there is an obstacle. When there are obstacles, there is a way around, that we can surmount barriers in our path with God's help, with parents who have such strength and faith in us. For those who feel a sense sometimes of being witnessed or scrutinized in a way, I think it's also a reminder that we don't want people's pity. We want companionship. We want respect. We want love. And I think you demonstrate that and share that so beautifully. And may your parents, Aleichem HaShalom, may they look upon you and your dear husband with great pride. And may the tears continue to be eased by the comfort of their memory. And may all the lessons and the strength that they have held for you in your life, may they continue. May you continue to carry their lessons, and may we also share that with you and hold that together with you. Thank you for being a woman of such strength and resilience, a teacher for all of us as well. And may you continue, please God, to have good health of body and of spirit. Amen.
Amen.